Reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in your life when you got to stop dancing to other people's music. You got to stop letting their words, their opinions, flexion, their judgments dictate your rhythm. Because let me tell you something, some people don't want to see you at peace. They want to see you rattled. They want to see you fall out of character. Reflection. They want to control your emotions. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stay calm while they throw chaos at you, that's the moment you become untouchable. Reflection. When they whisper behind your back, let them. When they doubt your purpose, let them. When they mock your silence, smile. Because silence is not weakness. It's control. Reflection. It's knowing that their noise has no power over your peace. Real strength doesn't shout. Real power doesn't need to prove. Reflection. Real confidence walks away with dignity while the rest are still trying to get your attention. People test you because they can't touch your blessings. Reflection. They poke you because they can't match your discipline. They try to stir your emotions because they have no control over theirs. But if you can learn to respond with grace instead of anger, reflection, calm instead of chaos, purpose instead of pettiness, you'll realize you're playing a higher game. You're not fighting for their approval anymore. You're protecting your peace. Reflection. So stop giving them the reaction they want. They want you to break character. They want to see you lose focus. Don't give them that satisfaction. Stay steady. Stay composed. Reflection. Stay dangerous in silence. Because when your emotions are mastered, your enemies have no weapon left to use. Be untouchable, not because you're cold, but because you're grounded. Reflection. Not because you don't care, but because you care too much about your growth to let small minds pull you down. The real victory isn't winning an argument. Reflection. It's walking away knowing your energy is too expensive to waste. Be still, be calm, be focused. Reflection. And above all, be untouchable. Mastering your reactions is one of the most powerful transformations you can ever go through. Reflection. It's not about pretending you don't feel anything. It's about learning how to own what you feel without letting it own you. Reflection. Most people in this world are controlled like puppets by their emotions. Someone insults them, they snap back. Someone ignores them, they start doubting themselves. Someone provokes them. Reflection. They lose control. But when you rise above that, when you reach a point where your peace can't be stolen by anyone's words or actions, you enter a level of strength that most will never touch. Reflection. Because power isn't about shouting louder. It's about being so centered that no one can pull you off balance. You have to understand, people will test you. Reflection. They'll press your buttons just to see if you'll react. They'll say things designed to make you angry or insecure. They want to see if they can get inside your head. But the real warriors, reflection, the real masters of life, don't take that bait. They smile, they breathe, they observe. And they respond with calm precision, not reckless emotion. Reflection. You must learn to pause before you react, to take that deep breath that separates instinct from intelligence. That moment of stillness is where your power lies. Reflection. When someone tries to provoke you, realize they are only doing it because they have no control over themselves. Their chaos is their prison. Don't let them drag you into it. Reflection. Your silence will irritate them more than your words ever could. When you refuse to react, you expose their weakness and reveal your strength. Reflection. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering the art of response. You feel the emotion, but you choose the action. That choice is what separates leaders from followers. Reflection, the strong from the easily shaken. Emotional control is not a sign of apathy. It's a sign of evolution. It's knowing that not every battle deserves your energy. Reflection. It's realizing that every time you react impulsively, you hand someone else the remote control to your life. But when you stay calm, when you respond with intention, reflection, you keep that control in your own hands. You become unpredictable, steady, and dangerous because no one can manipulate a calm mind. The one who controls his reactions controls the situation. Reflection. And when you learn that, when you start living by it, you'll notice something powerful. People stop testing you. They realize they can't shake you. You've become untouchable. Reflection. Protecting your peace is not a selfish act. It's survival in a world that constantly tries to pull you into noise, drama, and distraction. Reflection. Your peace is sacred. It's the foundation on which your clarity, your focus, and your strength are built. Without peace, even your greatest talents lose direction. Without peace, reflection, even your victories feel empty. That's why you must guard it like a priceless treasure. Because there will always be people who thrive on chaos, reflection, who feel powerful only when they can disturb someone else's calm. But when you learn to protect your peace, you stop being accessible to that energy. Reflection. You stop allowing everyone and everything to have a say in your emotions. You create a boundary between what matters and what doesn't, between who deserves your energy and who doesn't. Reflection. Protecting your peace means learning to walk away from noise without explaining why. It means not giving energy to arguments that won't change anything. Reflection. It means refusing to let negativity live rent free in your mind. Some people will misunderstand your calm for arrogance. Let them. Some will think your silence means weakness. Let them. Reflection. Because protecting your peace means you finally realize that not every opinion deserves a reaction. Not every problem is yours to fix. And not every person should have access to your energy. Reflection. When you stop fighting unnecessary battles, you free yourself for the wars that truly matter. The ones that lead to growth, purpose, and elevation. You see, reflection. Peace isn't found in a quiet room or a calm day. It's built in the middle of the storm. It's built when you choose not to respond to disrespect, when you choose stillness over revenge, reflection, and when you decide that your mental state matters more than your pride. Protecting your peace requires discipline. It means saying no to gossip, no to negativity, reflection, no to conversations that drain you. It's not about isolation. It's about preservation. You start realizing that your peace is power because when you're calm, you make wiser choices. Reflection. When your mind is quiet, your intuition becomes louder. The more you protect your peace, the more dangerous you become to anyone who feeds off chaos. Because peace gives you control. Reflection, it allows you to think before reacting, to move with precision, to stay focused on your path while others get lost in distractions. When you live in peace, reflection, you operate from a higher frequency, one where hate can't reach you, where jealousy can't touch you, and where small-minded people can't disturb you. Reflection, that's when you realize peace isn't just a feeling, it's a weapon. It's your shield in a world full of noise. And once you've experienced that level of calm, reflection, you'll never let anyone take it from you again. Staying calm under pressure is the true mark of inner strength. Anyone can look composed when life is easy, reflection. But the real test comes when everything around you starts falling apart, when people doubt you, when obstacles appear out of nowhere, when the pressure builds so high that most would break, reflection. In those moments, your calmness becomes your weapon because chaos feeds on reaction, but calmness starves it, reflection. The person who can stay steady when everything else is shaking is the one who always comes out on top. It's not luck, it's control. Control over emotions, over impulses, and over the mind. Reflection, when you stay calm under pressure, you stop reacting out of fear and start responding with wisdom. You see things others can't because you're not blinded by panic or ego. Reflection, pressure exposes who you really are. It strips away the surface and reveals your core. And when your core is grounded, you become unshakable. People will try to rush you, reflection. Circumstances will try to overwhelm you, and life will throw challenges that test your patience. But when you breathe through the storm, you find power in the pause. Reflection, every situation has a rhythm, and when you stay calm, you can feel it. You can see the solution hidden in the struggle. Reflection, that's what separates winners from warriors. The ability to think clearly when others lose control. Calmness gives you vision. Reflection, it gives you the patience to wait for the right moment instead of acting out of desperation. You must train your mind to stay cool when the heat rises. Because if you let panic lead, reflection, mistakes will follow. The calm mind wins not because it moves fast, but because it moves right. Staying calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're focused on what actually matters. Reflection. It's a sign that you've learned how to trust yourself, that you believe in your ability to handle whatever comes. That belief is power. That belief turns storms into opportunities. Reflection. When others are reacting wildly, your calmness becomes intimidating. It shows discipline. It shows complaint. It shows control. It shows that your peace is not up for negotiation. When you stay calm under pressure, reflection, you become the anchor in every situation. People will look to you for stability because they can feel that quiet strength. Reflection, you don't need to raise your voice to show authority. Your composure speaks louder. In every challenge, in every confrontation, remind yourself the storm can roar all at once. Reflection, but I am the calm in the center of it. That mindset turns fear into focus, confusion into clarity, and pressure into power. You don't have to explain your worth to anyone. Reflection, the moment you start defending who you are, you've already given people permission to question it. Real confidence doesn't argue. It simply is. When you truly know your value, reflection, you stop chasing validation and start commanding respect. You don't need to convince people of your greatness. You just keep showing up, keep working, keep producing results. Reflection, and let your consistency do the talking. The truth is, the more you explain yourself, the more power you give to those who doubt you. But when you move in silence, reflection, when you let your actions speak louder than your words, people have no choice but to recognize your strength, even if they don't want to. Reflection. Too many people waste their energy trying to prove something those who will never see their worth. They argue with critics, respond to every insult, flexion, and exhaust themselves defending what should never need defense. But the wise know better. They know that silence is the loudest answer to ignorance, reflection. They understand that validation from the wrong crowd is a distraction from their mission. When you know your worth, you stop fighting to be seen and start focusing on becoming undeniable. Reflection. You let your excellence speak for you. You let your discipline build your reputation. And one day, the same people who doubted you will be forced to respect what you built in silence. Flexion. Never beg for recognition. Never explain your dreams to small minds. If someone can't see your vision, it's not your job to paint it for them. Keep building quietly. Reflection. Because time has a way of exposing what's real. The most powerful people are often the most misunderstood at first because their silence confuses the insecure. But they don't bend. Flexion. They don't justify. They keep walking with purpose, knowing that every step is proving what words never could. You have to remember, when you're clear about who you are, reflection, the world's opinions lose their grip on you. Your energy becomes too valuable to spend on explanations. Your focus becomes too sharp to waste on proving points. People might gossip, reflection, they might doubt, they might mock your silence. Let them. Because while they're busy talking, you're busy elevating. Let your work speak. Let your results echo. Reflection. Let your progress make the noise. You don't have to tell people you're valuable. Just stop showing up where your value isn't respected. When you live like that, flexion, you stop being reactive and start being powerful. You stop being seen and start being felt. Walking away with dignity is one of the most powerful moves a person can make. Reflection. It takes strength to speak, but it takes far greater strength to stay silent and walk away when your peace is at stake. In a world where everyone wants the last word, reflection, where people mistake noise for power, the ability to simply rise, turn, and leave is a mark of true self-control. Reflection. You're not walking away because you're weak. You're walking away because you've learned that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult is worth answering. Reflection, and not every person deserves a reaction. Dignity means knowing your value and refusing to lower yourself to prove it. You stand tall even when your pride is tested. Flexion. Because your self-respect means more to you than winning an argument. When you walk away with dignity, you show that your emotions are not for sale. Reflection. You make it clear that no one can pull you out of character or make you act beneath your standards. It's easy to get drawn into drama, to want to clap back. Reflection. To defend yourself when someone disrespects you. But true power lies in restraint. When you stay composed while others try to provoke you, you expose their weakness and reveal your maturity. Flexion. You show that your peace is more valuable than your ego. You don't need to prove your right to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Flexion. You don't need to fight for validation when you've already earned it through your actions and your integrity. Flexion. The ones who walk away with dignity are not running. They're choosing peace over chaos. They've learned that silence ends arguments faster than anger ever will. Reflection. Because when you don't respond, the situation loses its fuel. You can't fight with someone who refuses to engage. And that calm, that stillness, reflection, that control, it's what separates leaders from the restless. You don't have to prove your strength through confrontation. You prove it through composure. Reflection. Every time you walk away with grace, you build a deeper sense of self-respect. You train your mind to value peace over attention, growth over gossip, and purpose over pettiness. Reflection. There's a certain power in walking away smiling, not because you've lost, but because you've chosen to win differently. The louder they shout, the quieter you become. Reflection. The more they provoke, the calmer you stay. That's the art of emotional mastery. It's not about suppressing what you feel, but channeling it into something higher. Self-control, patience, reflection, and awareness. Walking away doesn't mean you've given up the fight. It means you've learned that some fights don't deserve your presence. Reflection. You're not trying to prove who's right. You're protecting what's right within you. And when you live like that, when you choose dignity over drama, reflection, you start carrying a kind of strength that can't be shaken, a peace that can't be disturbed, and a silence that speaks louder than words ever could. Reflection, using their doubt as fuel, is one of the most powerful mindsets you can develop. Every time someone underestimates you, every time they look past you, laugh at your dreams, flexion, or whisper that you'll never make it, that's energy you can turn into power. Doubt from others is not your burden, it's your ignition. Reflection. The world is filled with people who will tell you what you can't do, who will try to shrink your vision to fit their own limitations. Flexion. But when you stop seeing their doubt as discouragement and start using it as drive, you become unstoppable. Reflection. Because nothing motivates like being counted out. Nothing lights a fire like being told you can't. The best revenge is not anger, not argument, flexion, but progress so undeniable it silences every voice that ever doubted you. You see, most people need support to move forward. They need constant validation, applause, and encouragement, reflection. But the strongest souls, they move in silence. They take every insult, every rejection, every "you're not good enough," and turn it into fuel. They build when no one believes, reflection. They grind when no one's watching, and they rise when everyone expects them to fall. When people doubt you, it's because they can't imagine themselves doing what you're about to do. Reflection. Their disbelief is a reflection of their own limits, not yours. Let their doubt become the echo that pushes you harder, the reminder that your purpose doesn't depend on their understanding. Reflection. When someone doubts you, don't argue the work. Don't try to prove them wrong with words. Prove them wrong with results. Let your success be your statement. Every time they say you can't, reflection, hear it as keep going. Every time they question you, take it as a sign that you're doing something bold enough to be noticed. Reflection. The people who doubt you the most are often the ones who'll talk about you first when you win. But don't waste time thinking about them. Stay focused on your path. Reflection. The sweetest victory isn't when you tell them you did it. It's when they have no choice but to see it. You must learn to turn rejection into resilience and criticism into commitment. Reflection. Because doubt is just noise, and the disciplined don't listen to noise. They listen to purpose. When people throw shade, it only proves you're standing in the light. Keep building. Reflection. Keep moving. Let every doubt sharpen your focus, toughen your skin, and deepen your hunger. Success tastes different when you've earned it through silence, through struggle, reflection, and through being underestimated. So when they doubt you, smile, because deep down, you know they're fueling your fire. And one day when they see what you've become, reflection, they'll realize their doubt was the reason you never stopped. Staying purpose-driven instead of people-driven is the difference between living freely and living trapped. Reflection. When you live to please others, you give them control over your direction. Every opinion becomes a distraction, every criticism a wound, and every compliment a leash. Reflection. But when you live for purpose, you move with clarity. You stop asking for permission to be yourself. You stop letting the noise of others drown out the voice inside you. Reflection. Purpose gives you power because it gives your life direction, a reason that's stronger than approval, louder than doubt, and deeper than fear. Reflection. People who live by purpose don't chase applause, they chase alignment. They know who they are, what they're called to do, and where they're going. And that focus makes them unstoppable. Reflection. Being people-driven is exhausting because it's never enough. The same people who praise you today can turn against you tomorrow. Reflection. The same crowd that cheers when you win will disappear when you stumble. That's why purpose must be your anchor. When your purpose is clear, the opinions of others stop shaking you. Reflection, you start realizing that not everyone will understand your path, and they're not supposed to. It's your path. You're not here to fit into their expectations. Reflection, you're here to fulfill your mission. The moment you detach your worth from people's approval, you become free to grow, free to move, and free to rise in your own timing. Reflection, purpose gives you focus when emotions want to lead you astray. It keeps you grounded when criticism tries to knock you off course. You stop reacting to every comment, every opinion, reflection, every misunderstanding because you're too focused on your goal to waste time on distractions. You start valuing peace over popularity, progress over attention. Reflection, you understand that being misunderstood is part of the journey because those who move with purpose often walk alone. But solitude isn't loneliness, it's power. Reflection, it's where clarity sharpens and vision expands. When you're people-driven, you live on emotional highs and lows depending on how others see you. But when you're purpose-driven, reflection, you move with consistency. You keep showing up day after day with or without applause. That discipline builds momentum, and that momentum builds legacy. People may not see your vision now, reflection, but one day they'll see the results of your focus. You'll realize that you never needed their validation. You only needed your own belief. So stop letting opinions control your steps. Reflection. Stop letting fear of judgment silence your calling. Move with purpose, not permission. Because when you live for something greater than approval, you become immune to manipulation. Reflection. The world can't pull you in every direction when you're rooted in where you're going. Purpose keeps you steady, it keeps you strong, and it keeps you free. Reflection. And once you learn to move like that, you stop chasing people and start becoming the kind of person others can't help but follow. Reflection. Being untouchable through discipline and self-respect is not about building walls around yourself. It's about building strength within yourself that no one can shake. Reflection, discipline, and self-respect are the twin pillars of power. They create a foundation so strong that no insult, no rejection, and no failure can crack it. When you live with discipline, reflection, you don't act out of impulse, you act out of intention. You become steady, consistent, and focused. When you live with self-respect, reflection, you stop settling for less than you deserve from others and from yourself. Together, they make you a force that can't be manipulated, a soul that can't be broken, flexion, a mind that can't be distracted. That's what it means to be untouchable. Discipline is the quiet commitment to your vision, even when no one's watching. Reflection. It's waking up early when it's easier to sleep, staying focused when distractions are loud, and showing up for yourself when motivation fades. It's not glamorous, reflection, but it's powerful because discipline builds strength in silence. Every small act of discipline becomes armor around your purpose. It protects you from laziness, doubt, reflection, and the emotional chaos that others try to drag you into. When you're disciplined, people can't manipulate you with words or emotions. Reflection, because your actions are not driven by feelings. They're driven by principles. You move with intention, not reaction. That's how you become unshakable. Reflection. Self-respect is the other side of that power. It's knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to tolerate anything beneath it. It's setting boundaries and sticking to them. Reflection, no matter who it offends. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to your time, your energy, or your peace. When you respect yourself, you don't chase, you attract. Reflection, you don't beg for recognition, you earn it through your presence and your consistency. Self-respect makes you walk away from situations that insult your dignity. Reflection, it gives you the courage to say no when everyone expects you to say yes. And it reminds you that protecting your energy is not arrogance. It's awareness. Reflection. Being untouchable doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you're emotionally mature. You can feel deeply, but still stay in control. You can face betrayal without bitterness. Reflection. Setbacks without self-pity, and criticism without collapse. You become unbothered not because you're numb, but because you're grounded. Discipline keeps you moving forward. Reflection. And self-respect keeps you from looking back. Together, they form an invisible shield, one that negativity can't penetrate and manipulation can't reach. Reflection. When you master discipline and self-respect, your life becomes peaceful but powerful. You no longer need to prove your worth, you simply live it. You no longer need to respond to disrespect. Reflection. Your silence carries more authority than words ever could. You stop being emotionally available to chaos, and that's when people start to realize you're not cold, you're in control. Reflection. You're not distant, you're deliberate. You've built yourself into someone who moves with quiet strength, calm authority, and unwavering self-belief. Reflection. And that is the true definition of being untouchable. So remember this, being untouchable isn't about hiding from the world or avoiding challenges. It's about standing tall in your power. Reflection. Mastering your emotions, protecting your peace, and moving with purpose. It's about letting results speak louder than words, letting discipline and self-respect guide every step. Reflection, and refusing to hand anyone control over your energy. When you stop giving them the reaction they want, you step into a life where chaos no longer has a hold, criticism no longer cuts. Reflection, and doubt no longer defines you. You become the calm in the storm, the force that can't be shaken, the presence that demands respect without demanding attention. Walk through life like this, and you won't just survive the world. You'll rise above it. You'll be untouchable.